All right, real quick, our preferred partners. They're not random sponsors. They're companies that have already proven they help indies win. So we want to share something that might change how you think about scaling. You don't need to hire to scale media. I know, it sounds too good to be true, but that's exactly what over 50 indie agencies discovered with Path Labs. They basically become an extension of your team. No headcount increase, no benefits to pay, no management overhead. Look, we all know media execution is getting harder and more fragmented every day. New platforms, new formats, new requirements. It's exhausting. Path Labs simplifies all of that so your team can focus on what they're good at: strategy, creativity, and growing client relationships. They give you a single point of entry to all the media tech and activation you need. No separate contracts with a dozen platforms, no extra hires, no tech overwhelm. Want proof it works? Over $200 million in media spend managed. Over 6,500 campaigns launched annually. 90% agency partner retention. This is their human-led model in action. Reliable execution, fast onboarding, and people who answer the phone when things get a little crazy. If you're ready to pitch and win bigger media opportunities, find out more about Path Labs at indieagency.partners. What an annoying voiceover that guy is. I'm kidding. Listen, I had a career in radio. It worked out okay. How's everybody doing? It's been a minute since we've done a live show. Very excited to be here. Speaking of live shows, I seriously do not want to get all daytime Emmy about all this, but I might. Our thing in Chicago, our summit, I can't thank all of you enough for, it was just such a blast. And I want to thank all of the people who, a lot of people came in from out of town. They also attended the Own It conference, which was fantastic as well. I want to thank Schaefer Condon Carter for helping us get everything sorted out. I want to thank the marketers that were on stage. I want to thank the members that were on stage. I want to thank the show-off participants, so the agencies that showed off their work. And I definitely want to thank our partners. And I'm just going to, show you a little bit here. So people have asked us this before, like, how does your sponsorship stuff work? So we have this thing called the Preferred Partner Program. And we try to treat this more as a recommendation as opposed to, classic sales. So what we try to do is listen, we vet all of our partners and they have to prove that they're doing right by indie agencies. And so we're always a work in progress with this, but these are trusted vendors. And we've built this little filter thing now where it's helped me with client work, helped me with running agencies. So you can see all of our partners here. So it's hey, we got a problem with this. It's going to take you right there. So, or you can scroll down. So these are all of our partners. We're going to be bringing a few more on as well, which we're very excited about. And some of these partners were with us at the summit. Goodway Group has a new logo, by the way. I thought that was really cool. So anyway, that is gratitude. And we love the fact that that they're part of this mission. That's the part of this that I really love, is that they are part of this. So the other thing we got coming up tomorrow, well, here's the thing. You're going to get an email today saying tomorrow is the deadline. I think I might extend it a couple of days. It's the Top 40 Classic. This is our work award, our work honor, the way it works. We have 10 categories. Top 4 from each category go into a final round. We then get the top 40. We reveal the top 40 via 5 live streams. The first week of June, we call it the Preamble to Cannes. And we get a chance to celebrate the work, celebrate the people behind the work, fun little interview. We're very excited about that. So go to indieagency.news to learn more about all of that. So you can see where that. So the final deadline, I guess technically was tomorrow, but I'm going to move it to Monday, end of day Monday. How about we do that instead? Give you a little breathing room as well. If you are a member, reach out to us so you can get your 25% off discount code. All right. So what do we, one of the things that I noticed in Chicago is that we kind of talked about AI, but we didn't talk about it so much that it overwhelmed everything that was going on in Chicago. But I'm bringing on a very, very special guest, Johnny S. We like to call him. I don't know. Is that your nickname? I don't even know.
I've never heard it, but no, yeah, let's go with it.
I mean,
I get J-Samps a lot. I'm
Okay.
not a Johnny. I'm a John.
Okay, well, I'm half Italian, so like that's the mom side.
Unless
so
you can call me that the rest
Yeah,
of this
it's like-
podcast.
yeah.
I'm Johnny S. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's like what would my mafia name be? Like I don't even know. Like I can't even think about it. It's like, you know what my grandmother used to call me? Oh, God bless her. So the Sinelli family, her name is Louise Sinelli. So I've worn glasses forever. And there was a stretch, and this is just like, you know, like it was the 90s. So I had the round glasses. And so I came back from college, and she looks at me and she goes, professore. So she used to call me professore. So I guess that would be my mafia nickname, would be professore. So there you go. And I do teach at Portland State University, so it does track. But anyway, John, you're co-founder and CEO of Wondersauce. I want to real quick before we dive into this. You're part of Project, which we're really stoked. We welcomed all 13 because we got a couple of them that are merging, which is fantastic news, and two really great agencies coming together. But thank you to Sharon Napier for championing this. But having all of the Project agencies, it's wonderful. And I'm not saying that because your agency's name is Wondersauce, but it's just great because we're getting so many different perspectives, not only from the practice of each agency, but also the geography of each agency, because we have a nice geographic split there. And one of the things that what I've always appreciated about you, and I've known about you for a long time, and I've known about Wondersauce for a long time. You're not shy with your opinions about things, which I really and listen, I appreciate that. It's like we don't move forward if we're trying to get to détente all the time. Sometimes it has to be uncomfortable, and there's a reason for that. The thing that you've been talking about lately, and you and I have talked about this off the air, is about AI and the fact that it's not necessarily going to like fix your agency. And you know, the thing about this, it really starts with where can we use it? But your argument in this is the opposite, and that the most important AI decision an agency will make is where not to use it. So let's talk about why that matters more than the use case question everyone else is asking. So dig into that, and you can stream of consciousness this.
Yeah, I mean, I think AI is going to be the most disruptive thing to the agency business model that we've experienced, at least since the beginning of the internet. But I do think it might be actually more disruptive than that. So I want to start by saying that, and that it's incredibly important to be invested heavily right now in how it impacts your business. But when I say focusing on the right use cases, what I'm seeing a lot is, and I think a lot of this is like natural and it's innocent. It isn't necessarily mean-spirited or necessarily wrong. It's doing things with AI that you didn't do without AI, if that makes sense.
That makes
so.
Sense.
Like for instance, like Wondersauce, we've been around for 15 years. All of our business is through word of mouth, referrals, and that's how we get business. I don't send outbound emails. It's just not what I've done. Right. So like, I don't need to create an AI enabled outbound product, even though I can do that in like an afternoon that sends 6,000 emails out. It's not part of my business. I don't need that. And just like I don't need to sit around and just dream up like micro efficiency tools to solve a problem that might save me 5 minutes here or there. Sure, those are like rounding errors that we need to kind of dive into and all that stuff. But what I think is the place to focus are the things that you don't want to focus on. It's the stuff that when you say it, it hurts you. It makes you, it keeps you up at night. It keeps you, it adds stress. You know, for Wondersauce, we do two things, right? We do digital transformation where we work with brands rebuilding their digital infrastructure, whether that's a digital product, an app, a website. And then we also do revenue acceleration, where we help brands get to different stages of growth through paid and earned media, content, influence, all that stuff, right? So for me, it's how does AI ruin both of those things? And how do I use it to rebuild it from the ground up, knowing that the linear way of how process used to work with, we're going to do some discovery and then we're going to do some strategy and recommendations, maybe some creative, and then we're going to execute. If that is not the assumption anymore, how do we start over, starting from zero? And that's a really, really gnarly conversation when you've got a team of almost 100 people, you've got clients, deadlines, and all that stuff. So for me, it's about spending all of our most important hours focused on solving that incrementally versus adding distractions.
Right. Yeah, I think that we are in this interesting stage where, let's go back. You and I have been around a minute. So let's go back to digital when it first started. There was a lot of experimentation. And I think at the time, we looked at it and said, oh my God, everything is moving so fast. That almost feels charming right now. So it feels like that. I don't want to say the experimental phase is over. It's not. However, I think those who are moving into sophistication of understanding where it can make a positive impact, that's really where we are. It's moving really fast. And listen, I am of the school that we as human beings are not designed to handle what's coming at us in this fire hose manner. Now, that said, you have the experimentation, which you should do, yet then you need to transition into the sophistication part of it and the actual efficacy piece of it. What does it cost an agency when they get the, where to use AI question wrong? So what are you seeing in trust, timelines, client relationships? What are you seeing in all that right now?
I mean, you're losing ground against your competition. So anything that you create that doesn't necessarily solve the most important aspects of your business, and every business is going to have different things to solve, but you're giving rope to your competition, which you obviously don't want to do. And also, clients are sophisticated, clients are smart. They are using this stuff too. This is not like everyone's using it.
Yeah.
It isn't like a secret, right? So, we have to assume that clients are as good or better. And I assume that I want to remain on the edge of how progressive we can be with this technology, but also balancing operational risk, right? You don't want to do something that is too risky, that the scale and the adoption isn't quite there yet, and it ends up leading to something horrible, data breach or something like that. Or, but so you as an agency, you have to kind of really just balance priority. But I've become way more interested in going incredibly deep on smaller amounts of things than just like skunk works stuff here and there,
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And this brings us to just this idea of, you've talked a bit about use cases a little bit, but let's dig into this a little bit. And I think that I'll use the context of us as a publisher. There are certain things that we are able to do much better than we realized by, to your point, the skunk works piece of it, that would feel like the experimental stage. But I think that we've gotten to this real point of clarity of okay, these are the things we can and should do, because so for an agency, your mission is to serve and grow your client's business. For us, it's to serve our members. And so it starts with, is this going to benefit our members of Indie Agency News First? That's the lens we look through on everything. And so, and 6 months ago, I don't think, it was like, oh, we really want to be of service. And then realizing, oh, wait, now we have more clarity on why we approach it this way, because the lens is this going to help our members grow their business, grow their people, get better visibility, like all the things, right? But it starts with serving the members. So I'm curious about, the decisions, you talked about going a little bit deeper. What are your decisions on whether or not, so let's just take some of these micro things that you're doing. My guess is that you probably have varying degrees of completeness, or at least hitting certain benchmarks or goals. But how do you decide, like, you know what, even though we've spent this much time on, I just don't think we need to keep going on this. How do you decide it's right versus one? And then let's take the human side of it. What I've learned is some of the things that we are able to do using AI allows us a greater opportunity to spend time with our members. And so talk a little bit about, about that. That was like 18 questions in one. I know, but you know what
the general theme. I mean, I it's what I think about all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think of it. I think about now, like, if you take a circle and going around the circle is hypothetically going from briefing to deployment of campaign and media plan, or from kickoff to deployment of a new digital product, right? I think about it as the circle is being filled in with different colors here and there. And when it gets completely one color, it's going to be like that new process will be set. So I'm looking at like 2 circles for different sides of our business that have like different gaps in it. But I'm right now experimenting with our team how to ultimately rethink both sides of that equation with AI. So for instance, like taking like the digital product side as an example. It's, we're not going to be living in a world where we have 6 months to a year to build something anymore. We're not, that's just not going to happen. We're going to have weeks and months. So I need to figure out with our team now, what does like the future of like design files look like? Are we like, what are we doing in Figma? Are we still using Figma? Are we annotating within Figma so it's ready for Claude Code? What is Claude Code really great at? Where does it stop? Is it only on the front end? I know it can make back end recommendations, but where are their flaws? So we're going through all of that rigor across different types of projects. And then we're trying to then repackage our value back to our clients, where we basically say, let's say a project was typically a website or an app. They wanted it done in 4 months. And let's say we think that we can do it in 2 months now with AI. Now going back to our client and basically saying, here's what we can do. Here's what the process is going to look like. We're going to kick off. We're going to synthesize all of your information. After 2 weeks, we're going to give you a product requirement document that has everything we've discussed in terms of feature and functionality. We're going to give you 3 different creative directions, and we're going to give you ultimately what's going on trend-wise, competitive-wise, et cetera, really quickly. We're going to go into a room and align on all that stuff, and we're going to walk out of that room with a formalized product requirement document. From there, you will have a working app in a week. It's going to be fully designed, fully built. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn it back over to you, and we're going to give you a 2-week period where you're going to test it internally, and we're going to test it through our own proprietary automated user testing tools, and we're going to recruit people to test it. Then we're going to come back together in a few weeks, and we're going to do another plan. Does that sound fun to you? Clients are going to be like, yeah, that sounds fucking great. Of course. It's amazing.
Right.
And I'm thinking that, like, if the way I'm thinking about it is, yes, it's faster and it's more efficiently built and all that stuff. But imagine the idea that every single time that the agency and the client come together, it's high value moments. We are kicking off and solidifying a partnership. We are reviewing what we actually built together weeks later. We are then going back and looking at actual user feedback and able to apply it. So we're actually resetting the agency client model to not be about mundane statuses and random 18 rounds of creative revisions and all this stuff, into speed, pace, high value collaboration. That to me is the future of agencies, and AI can help us become better humans through that.
Couldn't agree more. Oh my God. No. And what I love seeing too is, and hearing this from marketers, is marketers have, so I guess you would say the old school marketers still work within a certain lane, I guess. You start seeing some quite a few of these marketers that have been around for a while really enjoying the participatory part of it. And I think the next generation of marketer, whether that's a CMO or EVP, or pick your flavor, but the participatory nature of it is so vital. And you said a word that is, and I told you this before, before we went on the air, all I care about is that you have fun with this, because let us handle like this stuff. Let you enjoy the process. Of course, there's going to be there will be challenges along the way. There will be things that we're gonna have tough discussions on. However, if we're having fun while we're doing this, and we know that it's all pushing towards the same goal, and we achieve this together, this is the way that and I'm not trying to be like, oh, back in the day, it's, back in the day was back in the day, right? But there are some elements of that where if somebody like you and I who have been around for a while, it's like, oh yeah, this feels like the way it was before in certain ways, but here we are in something, and it feels more profound, I guess, is where I'm going with this. Is we don't want to feel like we're gargling broken glass the whole time, and that it still remains a little bit, but at the same time, I'm hearing more and more stories between agencies and marketers, like what you're talking about, where it's like, oh man, yes, I'm digging this, because they feel as though that they are genuinely part of it, but they also know when to step aside. They also know when to do this. They also know, so it becomes such a better relationship.
For sure. And, it's really trendy right now to talk about, the repositioning of agencies and what is the value that we can create in a world where we're moving away from billable hours and all that stuff. And if we're saying that things are going to become democratized and commoditized, and all the things we've done can be done now through machines to a certain degree, give or take, right? I think that, like, I've read and I've seen people talk about agencies being the authority, right? The authority on creative, the authority on tech, on trend. But guess what? Only so many of us can be authorities. If there's thousands of authorities out there, then there's nothing differentiated. So if you are the authority on tech as it stands in April of 26, then show people, like, what does that actually mean? So I'm more in the realm of like testing out holistic rethinks of process versus skunkworks BS.
Right. No, I get it. We're coming up on time, so I want to see, we keep this tight. We keep our shows tight. We're not sitting here for 90 minutes ruminating on what I'm going to have for lunch. I don't know yet. These are short answers. These are the rapid fire. We started, it was 1 sentence answers, and I was like, 1 sentence, and then it turned into like War and Peace. But so this is just like quick hits, and then we can have a little discussion. It's like, just start with the answer and then we'll go from there. What's the biggest lie agencies are telling CMOs about AI right now?
It's not a lie. It's more like, why does everything have to be defensive? It shouldn't be defensive. That it's a bad vibe on both sides. Like, agency coming in and being like trying to justify a bunch of stuff, and it's just like, prove your value. Keep it simple.
Okay, I like that. What's one thing CMOs should be demanding from their agencies on AI that most are too nice to ask for, or too concerned to ask for?
If they're not asking for like a general overview on how you're using it to be more efficient, how you're using it to better our business today, then they should be. We're getting a lot of those asks over the last almost 2 years. So and that should be something that everyone is having to put themselves through.
Yeah, no, I get that. Well, this was fun. I guess we'll find some other stuff to talk about. You know who, it just hit me. You know who you remind me of? And this is going to be a compliment, by the way. Let me preface this by saying this is a compliment. My friend Rob DeFlorio. Do you know Bobby D? Have you ever met Rob DeFlorio?
It sounds familiar.
Yeah,
it sounds familiar.
So Rob DeFlorio is one of my heroes. He was, I guess you would call him one of the original CMO. Well, yeah, he was like one of the original marketing, advertising creatives at Nike. And so Wieden Kennedy actually had retired his number when he retired from Nike. Yeah, and it's he's fantastic. So the same energy, same outlook, same positive vibe, with a dose of reality. And he was one of the co-founders of Mother in the US in 2004. So I'm listening to you, I'm like, This is like Rob DeFlorio. This is a good thing. So take it as a
Reach out to him and
compliment.
meet him.
Take it as a, oh yeah, no, next time I'm out there, I'll get everybody together. I'll get all the paisans together and we'll do a little Italian thing going out. Shameless promotion time. What do you got cooking? Just take a few seconds if you got something cooking.
Oh, I mean, nothing really to plug. Just if
Right.
you ever want to check us out, wondersauce.com, and you can find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All right. Well, I love this. I really appreciate you, all of you being part of this, and I'm excited to dig in with the other 13 or the other 12 agencies. My math clearly not very good. The other agencies at Wonder Sauce. Listen, everybody, a reminder about Top 40 Classic. Get your entries in. I'm going to extend the deadline, so don't worry. You got tomorrow and the week. And by the way, easiest entry in the business. You put your stuff in, 250 to 500 words on why the work is good. The jury's professional. They know good work. I'm not going to make you jump through a million hoops. And oh, by the way, we're the Arizona Iced Tea of awards. No award is over 199 ever. So we've committed to that. So there you go. We just want to make it accessible, John. You know what? People should be able to be proud of their work and to be able to get visibility for it. And it shouldn't cost a lot. You know, it shouldn't cost $1 million. I'm just saying, right? All right. John's sitting here like, all right, wrap it up, Zanger. All right, listen, on behalf of everybody at Indie Agency News, thank you so much for your support. If you want to learn more, go to indieagency.news. On behalf of everybody on the team, I'm Doug Zanger. See you next time.